Thomas Jefferson iMovie project by Emma Nguyen. Jefferson's background. He was born in Goochland County, Virginia, and was educated in the College of William and Mary. He had no religion. Before presidency, he was a lawyer and served as secretary for Washington. He wrote the Declaration of Independence, and he was a Republican. The war with Barbary pirates in 1801. For the previous century, Western nations had paid bribes to the Barbary states to keep them from harassing American and merchant ships. When the Pasha of Tripoli raised his demands in 1801, Jefferson refused to pay the increase, so he sent warships to the Mediterranean and blockaded the small nation. The war ended with agreements that included one last payment of tribute to Tripoli. Jefferson's actions on this matter caused him to rethink the need for a well-armed navy, and he stopped his move to reduce the force. This is a map of Tripoli, where the Barbary pirates were invading from. The War on Judiciary, Federalists versus Republicans. When Jefferson took office, many Republicans pressured Jefferson and the Republican-dominated Congress to make war on Federalist judiciary. Washington and Adams had created a system of courts that were run by Federalists. Under his system, they enforced the Alien and Sedition Acts, mainly against Jeffersonian Republicans. Before Jefferson's inauguration, the Federalists passed the Judiciary Act of 1801 that reduced the number of Supreme Court justices from 6 to 5, hindering Jefferson's ability to make Republican appointments. The act also created a new system of circuit courts with 16 new judges, all of whom were strong Federalists and were commissioned by John Adams. Jefferson couldn't dismiss the federal judges because they were appointed for life, but he did replace most of the marshals and other court officers with Republicans. In 1801, the Republican-controlled Congress repealed the Judiciary Act of 1801, but the Federalist-dominated Supreme Court, with justices appointed for life and were led by Chief Justice John Marshall, irritated most Republicans. The Louisiana Purchase. Spain had given France Louisiana in 1800, although shortly after France lost a battle in Saint-Domingue, present-day Haiti, that took much-needed resources. Without Haiti as a base, France did not have a strong enough navy to maintain control of lands so far from home, so Napoleon wished to sell France's lands to raise funds to conquer England. France sold the entire Louisiana territory to the United States for $15 million. The purchase was approved by Congress. The Louisiana Purchase more than doubled the size of the United States. The territory stretched from the Mississippi River to the beginning of the Rocky Mountains. This is a map of the Louisiana Purchase.
Problem with this? Well, nothing if you believe in a powerful government that can do stuff that's not in the Constitution, but if you're a strict constructionist like Jefferson, you have to reconcile this obviously beneficial act with there being no mention in the Constitution of the president being able to purchase land in order to expand the size of the U.S. So laying scruple aside, Jefferson bought Louisiana and then sent Lewis and Clark to explore it, which they did, even going beyond the boundaries of the purchase all the way to the Pacific. And this was so cool that it almost makes us forget that it was kind of unconstitutional and a huge power grab for the president. So the question is, why did he do it?
The Embargo Act of 1807. The British started seizing American ships with cargoes bound for Europe and impressing American sailors into the Royal Navy. In the summer of 1807, a British warship fired on the American naval frigate Chesapeake, killing 3 Americans. Jefferson passed the Embargo Act of 1807 that banned all European trade from American ports in response to violations of U.S. neutrality by Britain and France. The embargo devastated the U.S. economy, especially in the Northeast where they thrived on manufacturing and trade. In the end, Jefferson replaced the Embargo Act with the Non-Intercourse Act, which banned trade in England and France, but allowed it with all other countries. Legacy and impact. Jefferson had been a democratic icon because he helped Americans' understanding of the people's power. He promised that there is no necessary or an inevitable conflict between private rights and the public good. Jefferson is remembered for articulating the American National Creed, the fundamental principles of self-government. Jefferson set a precedent when purchasing the Louisiana Purchase by the Constitution as a guideline.
Smaller, lower taxes, shrink the military, and make it possible for America to become a bucolic, agrarian empire of liberty, rather than an English-style, industrial, mercantile nightmare landscape. So how did he do? Well, really well at first. Jefferson got rid of all the taxes except for the tariff, especially the whiskey tax, and then, when he woke up with a terrible, cheap whiskey-induced hangover, he paid off part of the national debt, he shrunk the army and the navy, and basically made sure that America wouldn't become a centralized, English-style state for at least the next 60 years. Low taxes and small government sounds great, but no navy? That would be tough, especially when we needed ships and marines to fight the Barbary pirates on the shores of